Hey, everybody. It is so good to see everybody. It's so good to be here with my friends, Ed Meyer, Dave Riddell, and my event planner for our event coming up on Wednesday, Janet Ickes. We're just doing a little sponsor promo here for the 2021 Small Business Sales Extravaganza. The future is friendly, and I do believe that strongly. The future is friendly. It's all about the mindset. Uh, Janet Ickes, who is my partner, one of my partners for this event, she is an author of the book "Money Doesn't Spend Itself, So Where Did It Go?" And she's going to be talking a little bit about that on Wednesday. Not a little bit. She's going to be talking quite a bit about that on Wednesday. Janet, you want to hold up your book and show us if you have it handy? There it is. It's a great book. I've actually read it twice in beta, and so I feel like I have gotten quite a bit out of it. And now my wife is pulling things from it too, little tidbits for our finances. But I'm so thrilled to have two of our sponsors here with us today. David Riddell from Big Frog Custom T-Shirts in Durham and Asheville, and Ed Meyer from Island Media Services. And Ed Meyer and I actually grew up about 10 miles from each other, but never knew each other. We just hung out with different people. I hung out with the bad kids. He hung out with the
The
kind of
worst
nerdy
kids. I
kids.
hung out with the worst kids.
Right, you actually hung out with the deadheads and all of that.
Back then, I was very different. No, I did not hang out with the deadheads. I wish I did.
But I really admire people that I ask to sponsor my events. They're generally people that I do admire greatly for a number of reasons. One reason would be because of the I watch how they act in their business. I also admire their just who they are as people in general, and that's why people I like to partner with and people I ask to sponsor my events, because that is a partnership right there as well. And I want to make sure that I'm representing their business well, and in turn, I want them to represent the event well. And so Dave, let's start with my friend David Riddell from Big Frog Custom T-Shirt. Uh, David, I know you've got a very interesting history. You've lived all over the world, if I remember correctly. And like most teenagers, like Ed and I, we grew up in that normal, suburban life where, most kids, you see a lot of movies where kids grew up in this suburban type of life. Where you didn't grow up like that, David, did you? You grew up a little. It was a little unique, wasn't it?
I moved every couple of years like any military kid, and I graduated high school in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, which is a great trivia when you're doing two truths and a lie, right? There's no way that's true, but the Azores are off the coast of Portugal. They're a military refueling base, so think about 100 years behind our time. Cobblestone roads, still taking milk to the market. No drinking age. Soccer is everything, and I mean it was 17 miles of island unbelievableness when you're 17 years old. So
Wow,
yeah,
that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
yeah.
Although I guess when you heard about like Van Halen coming to town, they weren't actually stopping there, were they?
Yeah, there was no. I mean, well, in the music, it's like the one TV channel that's military. Like, I mean, they cut and paste, and anything live, it was 5 hours ahead. So the Super Bowl is on at 2 o'clock in the morning, and yeah, there's no music. I mean, somebody would fly back to see family, put in the VHS tape that shows you the age of MTV, which shows you the age when they did
Uh-huh.
music, and they would record. I mean, and they'd come back with like eight VHS tapes of MTV, and then we just put them in and just stare at them and just go, wait a minute. And sometimes, I mean, there's a delay now, but oh well, we still heard it, we
Yeah,
still got it.
I
But
think
yes, nobody
MTV's
was
coming up
coming
on
in.
40 years.
That 40 years this year, but I mean 14 years of great music in 40 years. They stopped doing music in what, 80, 95, maybe,
True.
that's pushing it.
That's
uh,
true.
yeah, 81 and 2021. It was amazing when it was there, but just imagine watching MTV over and over again on VHS tape. That was our world, because we
Yeah.
weren't getting it live. There was no, I mean, Casey Kasem was kind of
AC
um,
Kasem.
pumped in a week late or something. I don't know.
Right, right. And so, Dave, one of the things that I like so much about you is you just always have a great attitude. You're always upbeat. You're very positive. You're a fun guy to talk to. So, one of the things that I was just curious about is, over this past year, when we were just talking about it before we started recording, a lot of people's stories have been stories of hardship. But I know that, while I don't know if your business maybe did great, did mediocre, whatever it was, you would never have known it wherever, so I know that at the end of the day, you were successful. And so my question for you is, what would you say was, the success, what was your biggest, helped you to be successful this year? Because success isn't just always financial. Success
Right.
can be what's going on in here in
Well,
your
that's what I
heart.
was just going to say. None of us are going to pour it out and say we were down. But Big Frog Custom T-shirts, we're events based. You don't even buy a shirt with your logo to wear in the office. You wear it to be seen out. So any event is why you'd get shirts. So of
Right.
course we took a hit. How much of a hit? I mean, every business and everybody that does something like that's a little bit different. And uh, but our success was measured in how much we could give back to community
Mm.
and the visibility that's gained by that. At the core, from day one, my wife and I said, we opened, but nobody cares. And the reason I say that is we all have competitors. We all even have the internet. You have those big box stores that have everything under one roof. And so how do we separate ourselves out? The know, like, trust, and the give back. I was on the road for 25 years as a district manager. So when I got to be a part of a community, that's what matters. And so we set up a website, an online store, and had, 30 or 35 businesses on it and nonprofits to sell their logo. And we ended up writing $10,000 in checks in the state of North Carolina that were fundraising give back checks. So what did it do? Even though we didn't get much of that, we got all the social media, all of the goodwill, give back, and it will come back to you. So financially, we struggled like many, but it helped us in the future because we did who we were at the core. And that was, we are going to find a way to keep community moving forward and be a part of something. So if we can make everybody else money and get everybody visibility, it's helping us as this thing gets straightened out, and we and we see the other side of the masks.
So givers gain. That's really what you're talking about. I mean, I know that's one of the slogans of
And
BNI,
BNI,
but
right?
that's really what you're talking about from a spiritual standpoint.
In a Dave
Is
term,
the
yeah, in a Dave term, it's be more than the name on the door. You are in
yeah,
business, but who are you more than what the actual name of your business is? I do t-shirts. Whoopity do. If I died, I no longer do t-shirts. But while I'm here, what else can I do that's not just the best at what the name is on the door? And that's being a part of something, which is, very rewarding. It doesn't pay the bills, but it will in the long run, because, and that's why we're here. We didn't go into business for 3 months, get rich quick scheme.
yeah. Well, one of my favorite books, which is behind me, but I don't have time to look for it, is The Go Giver by Bob Berg, who is the king of referral marketing and having that servant's heart. And so, Ed, let me ask you, what would you say, you and I, we've become pretty friendly over this past year. We were already friends, but because it's interesting because Zoom, and you'll unmute yourself, Ed, because of Zoom, it's actually funny that some relationships have gotten deeper and better as a result. And it's just so funny because Ed and I have actually spent a lot of time together through Zoom. And we're not even, we're like, what, 25, 30 miles away from each other.
Tops. Not even. I don't even think we're even that far.
Right, but the point is that we're not right next door to each other, yet we've developed a really good friendship over this past year. Um, so Ed, what has helped you to stay successful and just keep things going over this past year?
Well, we've been lucky in a couple of ways. We've had a very few of our core customers, folks that we've been with since we've opened the door, who are lucky enough to be working, still through all of this. As crazy as things are, real estate is still huge.
Mm,
So some of our realtors and mortgage folks have stayed with us and have still needed our services, which has been great. Um, an event, believe it or not, one of my biggest clients is an event planner, and you would think it's COVID and we're not allowed to go out in groups of more than 8. We're not allowed to have a whole bunch of people in the same place. What is an event planner? She is incredibly smart, incredibly innovative. She has done drive-through events.
interesting.
She is a wedding planner, and so she has organized wedding shows where she would normally rent out a hall and have booths for all the different vendors, and she's turned them into drive-through events. And so she's still in need of a bunch of stuff like that.
Wow.
So we've been really lucky with that. And the other thing we've been doing is, you got to stay with the times. So we've changed around. We've been offering more services that we've always done, but now, are more needed by people. So we've been lucky enough to get some leads through LinkedIn, and we've done some more websites. And
Oh, okay.
as Joe, as you know, we do the Zoom moderation now.
Which you do it amazingly well.
Well, thank you,
I
thank you.
wouldn't. My business would have been shut down had it not been for you.
Oh, well, I appreciate the kind words, but so it's a combination of we've been lucky enough to still have some of our core clients who were lucky enough that they're in business to keep us in business, expanding our business to offer more services that will suit folks right around now. And recently, we just started a partnership with, very recently, Women's Resource Center. We're doing
Mm.
some work with and for them. So, it's just, I found the most important thing that has gotten our company through the past year is uh, be flexible, be expandable, and just because something isn't what you normally offer. I mean, our key line is graphic design, printing, and promotional products. It doesn't mean it's the only thing you can do to benefit other folks. So we have been lucky enough to pull some of the other things that we're really fluid in out of our hats and say, you need a website, we can help you with that. You need a new PowerPoint presentation, we can help you with that. So that's kind of where we've been at, and we're looking forward to the new year, and we're looking into new ways to help other folks get the word out, whether it's business to business or business to consumer. How can we help them get the word out that hey, we're in business, and we have a service that can help you, or we have a product that can help you.
So yeah, and I want to point out for the both, for anybody who I didn't pick up on it, you know, Ed, how his strengths are in the graphic design, web design, and the print services around, whether it's ink on paper or if let's say you want a mug, those kinds of things, and that's I said to you this morning, Ed, nice mug, but I, you know,
I
and
got
then
it.
David is really strong in the areas around the print on fabric. You're talking about T-shirts. You're talking about the masks. I say he did the mask for a friend of mine. He's got I don't know, dozens of them that he's selling with the United States on it in hearts, and that was a lot of fun. And so those are the kinds of things that David can do in one-offs, or he can do them in large quantities. So those, it's really important that people know that. And then Janet, do you mind just sharing with us for a minute, and then we'll let everybody go to bed? Uh, can you just share with us for a minute about what it is that you're going to teach us on Wednesday?
Absolutely. And I'm just so honored and blessed to be involved with folks because one of the biggest things that I'm always just looking for is to surround myself with folks that are of the same character, of the same, that they want to help support each other. And that's what this event is all about.
Right.
It's about kickstarting 2021. 2020 is behind us, thank the Lord. At this point in the game, several folks, or those that know me, know that my last 12 weeks of 2020 have been exceptionally challenging. And you know what? That's okay. that's okay, because I have been surrounded by folks that have just been phenomenal support structure, and that's what I love to partner with. And of course, my characteristic, I wrote Money Doesn't Spend Itself in 2020. So I'm really excited. And this little guy, he's Hammy, and he's going to help you turn your Hamiltons into Benjamins. That's his
Nice.
mission for 2021. And that's what we want to do, is we want to get those profits up. And very often it involves just getting the right system in place, or just knowing which strategy you need to have around your money. And that sometimes gets pushed to the bottom of the list. And that's what I have found is stuff that I do naturally, because I'm very abnormal, and I have just accepted that and I roll with it. I'm good with numbers. I love numbers. I've always enjoyed Excel. It's been my second language. It's a running joke in my household. But it's things that I've had to put in place that have gotten me, especially through the past 12 weeks. I mean, it's been crazy. If I wouldn't have saved and had the systems in place, I would have been really struggling between transmissions going and, there's a boatload of other things, and engines blowing
Sure.
up, and just additional trips to Pennsylvania that were a little kind of exactly expected. Little things like that. If I didn't have the systems in place that I do naturally, I would have been in I've been struggling a lot worse.
Right.
I mean, granted, it's tight. But just like everybody else, we all have to watch and see what's going on. But I was fortunate. I was given that foundation from my dad, who really pushed me to make sure that I had those foundations in place. So I came into it with a different aspect. And that is one thing that I just love sharing. And when I started networking and kind of came out of corporate America, which I'm not upset about either, walked away after 20 years of corporate America and launched my own business. I'm also a Mary Kay consultant. I thought for sure I was going to become a director, and the Lord had other ideas. He said, no, we're going to go back to dealing with the strengths that I've built into you, which is getting that budget in place, getting those systems in place to actually launch forward. And that's where my signature speech comes in. Money doesn't spend itself, so where'd it go? Your revenues are increasing, but your bank account is not. Why not? And what can we do today to actually start making that turn? How can we twist that? How can we turn that and put the strategies and the systems in place to move forward in 2021 to get this stuff under control? And that's what I'm going to be sharing. And I'm so excited to be surrounded with such amazing folks, and I'm looking so forward to being there.
Thank you, Janet. And I'm really excited to have you there and to be partnering with you again.
Absolutely.
I think this is our third time.
Yeah, it is.
Together.
It's exciting.
So I'm really looking forward to it. And everybody, thank you so much for spending some time and, learning a little bit about who our sponsors are and who one of our speakers is going to be. And hopefully we'll be able to see you on Wednesday. I'll be sure to put the link in the comments so that you can go ahead and register. We already have a great group of folks registered, but please go ahead and register, because maybe you'll meet somebody that you don't already know. So have a wonderful day, everybody. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
You guys are great. Take care, Janet.